We're not walking on a single eggshell at GoGo Battles rehearsal.
Yeah, but this is our garbage.
How do our bodies fit together? Not like that. Okay, how do our bodies fit together? This works. What if we could throw each other up in the air now?
Our cutting social critique.
One of the most insane experiences, I think, about GoGo Battles.
Like a golden retriever shoved inside a man.
Let me think about how to phrase this.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to go
How do you decide what the show is?
Our planning, our like writing process, part of it starts when we schedule the season. So we'll talk to Chris and we'll pick dates for the whole year about which months make sense for us. And then some months have an obvious theme, like Halloween, we'll come up with something like that. But usually we try to pick dates that don't necessarily have like a calendar date to attach to them. And then usually we try to go hiking on Fridays as kind of our like escape to just like take our dogs and to the wilderness and stroll and just get away from our crazy life. And that's usually we'll take like a couple kilometers and just start branding around ideas until we both find one we're like, oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, I used to go hiking with the directors, so sometimes I would get a little bit of a preview of their process. We'd spend like 13-kilometer in the woods, and they would just be going through what's going to happen with GoGo Battles, and it was really fun to hear them make up jokes and reject each other's ideas and support each other.
One of my favorite things that we go through every GoGo Battles is we'll disagree on a joke, because one of us will think our joke is funnier and the other one will feel the same about their joke. And now we're in a fight.
We have fun.
And we are fighting.
Oh, yeah.
We're having like an argument. We're stomping through the forest, like
We will have to stop and talk.
making our arguments towards why our stupid joke is better than their stupid joke. And then we're stomping through the forest. And I think you do this on purpose because I'll hike faster when I'm mad.
We like to take things that kind of sometimes exist and then put a GoGo Battles twist on them. A lot of times is where it'll start from.
But then we also look at things like, okay, but how do we involve somebody who's been part of this process or has always wanted to be part of it? Or like, how do we celebrate somebody in the community who's very committed to this, who's excited by this, it would make them feel special? We're performers. We're on stage a lot. It's amazing. It feels great. And GoGo Battles is kind of this like special little world where we're able to invite more people in, and the stakes are pretty low because like people expect it to be crass and they expect things like to be a little shoddy and off the wall, but like we all commit to like how, I don't know, garbage some of our stuff is, and we're just like, yeah, but this is our garbage.
Once we have all the concepts in place, then it comes down to gags. And you and I will try to write about 6 to 8 gags depending on the size of the fight. And then we take those into rehearsals, in which our beloved Scott refers to them as gimmicks, which is our cutting social critique.
Carla always gives me a lot of leeway to write gags into GoGo Battles.
And it's kind of cool because you're writing jokes, but you have to know that they have to be visual jokes because no one's going to hear what you're saying because there's no microphones in GoGo Battles. And so you almost turn yourself into a cartoon character because the audience's disbelief is so suspended that anything that you mime out, they're willing to follow you the entire way. So then you start thinking differently and like still like a comedy writer, but you're thinking like a cartoon writer almost.
And then we start working of how do we get into those, out of those, what are the pacing of those. And so the writing process and the choreography all come together in those really intense rehearsals.
Rehearsing for GoGo Battles is one of the most insane experiences, I think, about GoGo Battles.
We rehearsed this show in like 4 hours. 2 of those 4 hours is just us figuring out what the hell we're doing.
How do our bodies fit together? Not like that. Okay, how do our bodies fit together? This works. What if we could throw each other up in the air now?
So GoGo Battles can be a bit of a ride because rehearsal, you don't know what you're getting into, and then you end up knowing your fight by the end of the hour or whatever you are in there, and then you have maybe one more rehearsal with your partner, sometimes 2 or 3, where you have to develop your routine and then learn how to sell it and trust each other, and then by the time you're in the dress rehearsal, the show is the next day. So it's usually a pretty quick timeline.
But we're gonna take 5 and then we'll get ready for the second half of the fight. So that means Girl Boss is up next, followed by Ron DeSantis, and then Karen Johnson. Then we'll need Orca, Banana, and Cool Girl.
Good first half.
Having Scott is also such a blessing. Scott is so passionate about what he does, and that really helps. He is thorough, and he will make us run something over and over and over until it feels comfortable, and that is a beautiful thing.
Scott is so great at working people through all those things.
Yeah.
And then he's also just like a golden retriever shoved inside a man, and he's just so excited to do the things, and you can't stop him. He'll do every move like 6 times because he's just having so much fun. And I'm like, he's like, okay, this is how you do it, wham. But you could also do it like this, wham, and then he just keeps going, and it's great because everyone learns all these things by watching him do it, and then he walks them through. It's a wonderful process.
The rehearsal process for GoGo Battles kind of generally starts with Kayla and Victoria coming up with, hey, here's what we're thinking of doing. Maybe this event is our version of a Royal Rumble, which is over the top ropes, but for us, it's just a multi-man match where we have to throw you onto the stage. So they first start talking amongst each other and then kind of hit me with, hey, we're thinking this. We'd like to do A, B, C, or D. We'd like to do that match. We'd like to do a tournament. What do you think? And I say, oh, cool, great. I have some ideas for some stuff. So we kind of put it in there, going back and forth talking. Okay, great. What's the point of this? What are our matches? Why are our matches? Oh, great. So once that's happened, we start talking back and forth. I start throwing in, oh, okay, great. That would be cool to do this. So when it comes to the actual physical time of doing the rehearsals or practices, Kayla and Victoria are there, and we go, okay, so what are some of your funny gags you want to put in so that we can build those gags to tell that story? And ultimately, who's winning and why? So it's kind of, I'm coming up with the choreography kind of on the spot. I'll have some stuff thought of ahead if it's a tournament or if it's a rumble or whatever. I'll come up with, oh, here's some good spots. Who could maybe pull them off? I'd like to try this. So we will try to do that. And once we're involved, it's okay, so we have to work to this point. So who's ever there, what are you comfortable with? What can you do? I'm thinking this. I'll show you. I'll take the bump. I won't ask you to do something if I can't physically do it in some way, shape, or form. So I'll actually do it and show you kind of the hard way. And when we come to that point, we go, someone can't do that. Is there a way to modify it? is there a way we can still make that move look good that tells that point we're selling of, oh wow, that was a huge hit and they're down, but we want it to look good. So I kind of say modify, modify, modify is what we do to make it work for us. And sometimes that's the challenging part, but that's also the rewarding part when you're like, oh, we did this instead, so that really works out great. GoGo Battles doesn't always have to look 100% perfect because no one in GoGo Battles is 100% a professional wrestler. So we can modify and make things look good, but just done differently.
Whatever you do with them, though, make it like really big.
Yeah, huge.
So maybe we shouldn't go down as far yet, like, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, think of running back foot.
You want a pace? You want a pace? A running backflip?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So it's whoop, flip, backwards, yeah, land, yeah, yeah.
A challenge that I think we often have to overcome would be an instance of someone having, say, an injury or bad knees or a bad back. So the example would be, how can we get across this person bumping or showing they're getting hurt in the match and back and forth without injuring that spot?
Because people come at it with different physical ability, different ages, all of that kind of stuff. And we want them to make sure that everybody kind of gets a part, everyone gets a moment in there. And so that part is really important.
What kind of moves? What would you think would fit in here? What are you comfortable doing? And we talk about those moves, practice them, make sure we're on the same page so nobody's going to get hurt. So it takes quite a bit of practice, and sometimes myself saying I'm not comfortable with doing that move, I could injure myself. Somebody younger and more flexible might be able to, but.
One of the things we try and do is having people kind of roll back or go really far back and then kind of fall back. So it's kind of modifying it. So the impact still looks like it's there in our limited space, sort of, optical illusions, but the performers aren't hurting themselves as much as you would in an actual wrestling ring or doing actual wrestling. So I think that's one, is just doing back bumps that makes it look, because that's your back bumps are your most basic wrestling bump. So just trying to make those look good. So we do a lot of rolling, a lot of, rather than say impact, we'll do a lot of rolling with. If there's a flip involved, it's generally a flip, roll, tuck. So coming up with those is challenging, but in a really great way, because I get to use my creativity going, how can I make this work? I really want this move here because it tells this point of the story. How can we do this? So that modifying comes in. Something that works great is when we have, again, if we have someone who's really tall, oh good, I'm going to use their legs. They can do a lot of kicking. They can give a big boot to the face because you can get that long leg extension, and we can hide how we hit. And if we have someone who's small, well, we want to do a lot of stuff of them kind of, they'll reverse a move at the last second. So with the same thing with someone shorter or smaller, maybe they can do a crawl on or whatever. I have very basic indie wrestling scene hookups. I did training years and years ago, right after high school, through Matt Rats / kind of the Hart School. Teddy Hart was trained by some people, Tyson Kidd, TJ Wilson, Ravenous Randy Myers. And so I did basic wrestling training there. Eventually I moved to Vancouver when I was working in film and television, and I met Ravenous Randy again, who was doing a loop and coming through Vancouver. And through Randy, I got re-involved in the wrestling scene out there and ended up just helping out with what I could, not actually wrestling, but just taking some basic bumps and refereeing for them and just being involved in general with them. We did our training at a little spot called BJ's Gym, which no longer exists, it's torn down, but it was owned by BJ Annis, and there was a little ring, it's gym, and in the corner there was a little ring, I think it was 15 by 15. Smaller ring, very indie, used for training, ropes or saggy, actual tight ropes, but sagging, so not perfect, but it was a great little spot to practice. And again, I had some great trainers who are just amazing people involved in wrestling in general now. There is a bit of a difference between GoGo Battles and independent wrestling, and especially the training. More so in independent wrestling training, you're actually training in a real ring, there's ropes, and we're not so much in independent wrestling, you're not being trained to do, here's the whole match layout. You're taught, here's how you take this move, so you can take this move at any point. Here's how we safely execute this together. So you're kind of being taught how to take the bumps and do the moves, rather than, okay, here's some choreography. Yes, that will come. You'll think, oh, here's a cool spot, can we do this? But when you're doing the training is it's a lot more intense professional wrestling training than GoGo Battles. Our GoGo Battle training is more accommodating and modifying is what it's about, and actually choreographing a dance. So that's why I kind of say we're doing theater stage fight dancing is what we're doing, rather than an actual pro wrestling match. It's a little different.
There is a saying for us, especially, like, it's GoGo Battles, which is that professionalism to a point, and then we like to make fun of the fact that it is very slapped together sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially before we got the arts department, GoGo Battles, the props department was also us. And that meant a lot of cardboard. And that meant like things cut out of cardboard, sometimes with the word NASCAR written on a car-shaped thing that somebody got hit with, which I still think is one of my favorite props of all time. You know, there is a slap together nature that kind of gives it a bit of its charm of like, we are in on the joke, that we aren't taking it too seriously. We can laugh at the silliness of the production itself.
Welcome to my workshop. This is where the magic happens. I've got some discarded older props over here. This was going to be something. This is a piece of an old drink container. I've got some of these. These are really cool. These are X-Wing wings that were meant to be worn. If I can fit one on here. And you're thinking to yourself, why make X-Wing wings that are just static? Oh, they're not. They deploy. My name is Mike Schmidt. I also go by MT Fridge. In GoGo Battles, I was recruited to build props. So things out of cardboard of any description, I'm your guy. So GoGo Battles came on my radar because of my partner, Lily Von Steam. She was a performer in some of the episodes of GoGo Battles. We attended a couple of different shows. I hung around for quite a bit. And then naturally, once you start hanging around Cabaret Calgary long enough, you get put to work. And so I happened to have an excess of cardboard at the time, and they needed poorly constructed props very quickly. And that's where I came in. I have absolutely no background in prop making. I do like to work with my hands. Unsurprisingly, I'm a giant nerd, so I have some experience building small miniatures and wargaming terrain, so I use some of that experience with painting and making small things to make bigger versions of things which were silly. It's actually kind of funny because both my grandfather and my dad are quite handy people. My grandfather was a woodworker for years and years. My dad's a heavy-duty machinist, so he worked with his hands every single day. I acquired zero of those skills. I am not mechanically inclined. I've barely ever used a power tool. When I moved from Edmonton to Calgary is when I received my first power tools from my father, probably thinking I'd be a lot manlier than I was. But the whole process just involves seeing what I have available to me and just kind of going with it. Over here, I hang it on the wall. It still gets used. I've thought about upgrading it, but I just kind of want to leave this prop the way it is. This is the first one I ever built. This is the flutter board for David Hasselhoff when he runs slowly with horrible butcher's twine a converted piece off something that I found on the ground to try to hold it all together. Poorly painted, but all the memories. We have a group chat. Myself, Katie, Victoria, all have a lovely chat where we receive pretty close to showtime some words. And those words can be many different combinations of many different things. Penis sword. Sylvia Plath air fryer. Just to name a few highlights. And there's a little bit of a process where myself and Katie, who's also part of the art department, just kind of look at the list and muse what those items might be. And then set some timelines, we divide up and conquer. We each have some individual skills. I'm more working with cardboard and larger structures. That's really where my comfort zone is. And Katie's also very, very good at the smaller items and the high detailed and knitting and anything soft and plushy that doesn't have to hurt someone.
So these are slices of bread being used as boxing gloves that I crocheted. And I designed them myself and then stuffed them with filling and added like little handles to hold on to. I don't actually know what they're being used for. I just made them.
Amazing. How long did it take you to make those?
A few days, like working on and off, because I was designing them myself. I couldn't find a good pattern for what I wanted, so it was a lot of like trial and error, ripping things back and then re-knitting it. So.
Sometimes it's an idea and we just kind of have to run with it and see what'll work and what won't work. I often don't know why I'm building what I'm building, but I know that it's going to be used in some strange way. Yeah, so we're going to see what all this stuff is used for. I have absolutely no idea. And I couldn't be happier.